Dovahkiin, Dovahkiin, da 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 dee, doody doo, da dee da. The video's gonna start right now. I'm very sorry, guys, but sometimes, just gotta let that out. Honestly, this video is pretty much a quite different endeavor for me personally. I've done a few Learn German with video game types of videos before, but it's Skyrim. But I'm gonna try nonetheless. I'm gonna teach you some German vocabulary, meaning words, phrases, expressions that are related to what's happening in Skyrim. Okay? Okay. Let's go. Let's begin with some basic terms related to the world of what exactly? Himmelsrand, the sky's rim, so to speak. Quite literally. As you may have guessed, in case you have some background knowledge about German terms, this one is a compound word consisting of der Himmel, singular, die Himmel, plural, the sky, and der Rand, singular, die Ränder, plural, the rim or edge. Sky rim, Himmelsrand. Also, you might have noticed the additional S in between both parts, Himmelsrand. That S is very typical for many German compound words. It's a so-called Fugenelement, and it's somewhat a linguistic atavism, if you will, meaning a leftover from genitive forms or dative forms of nouns. Des Himmelsrand. Whose rim is it? It's the sky's rim. There you have the S as well. In most German compound words, it's the last mentioned noun's gender that determines the gender of the entire compound word. And it's the case here as well. It's der Rand, a masculine noun. Hence, it's der Himmelsrand. In other words, Skyrim in German would be a masculine noun. As das Videospiel, singular, die Videospiele, plural, the video game, Skyrim is a Rollenspiel, das Rollenspiel, singular, die Rollenspiele, plural, the role-playing game, or in short, RPG. And by the way, Germans also use the English open world term. We usually wouldn't use a translation here. But if there were a commonly used translation of this, it would be die offene Welt, the open world. Sounds strange in German, to be honest. Videospiele wie Skyrim haben mich seit meiner Jugend stark fasziniert. Allerdings tue ich mich immer ein bisschen schwer damit, einen Charakter zu erstellen, weil es so viele coole, interessante Klassen und Rassen zur Auswahl gibt. Wo fängt man an, wo hört man auf? Okay, so once you've created your character, you can start das Spiel, singular, die Spiele, plural, the game, a short general term for any kind of game basically. And it's der Charakter, singular, die Charaktere, plural, the character. Right in the very first cutscene, German gamers will most probably use the English term cutscene as well. The German equivalent would be das Video, singular, die Videos, plural, or die Sequenz, singular, die Sequenzen, plural, the sequence. You realize that you are in a critical position. Yeah, you are either der or die Gefangene, singular, die Gefangenen, plural, the prisoner, and you're being transported in die Kutsche, singular, die Kutschen, plural, the carriage. Ich persönlich liebe den Anfang des Spiels, weil man in gewisser Weise ins kalte Wasser geworfen wird. Man weiß nicht so ganz, was da genau passiert, man hat vielleicht ein paar Ideen und dann merkt man, oh, ich befinde mich in einer nicht so optimalen Lage. After having arrived at your, quite literally, final destination, at least that's the plan, you witness another prisoner being beheaded, geköpft werden. Not the most useful piece of vocabulary in this video, I agree, but still, it's related to Skyrim. Kurz bevor man selbst an der Reihe ist, wird man gerettet. Vom Zufall? Vom Schicksal? Wer weiß das schon? The town named Helgen gets attacked by der Drache, singular, die Drachen, plural, the dragon. Der Drache speit Feuer, or der Drache spuckt Feuer, weshalb fast alle Häuser brennen und die Stadt zerstört ist. And because of that sudden event, you not only save your Leben, das Leben, singular, die Leben, plural, your life, but you also manage to entkommen, to flee or break free from the scene, with a Begleiter. Der Begleiter, singular, die Begleiter, plural, a companion leading your way, you manage to escape the burning Stadt, die Stadt, singular, die Städte, plural, the town, or rather the burning Dorf, das Dorf, singular, die Dörfer, plural, the village. For instance, you're fleeing through die Höhle, singular, die Höhlen, plural, the cave, and if you're not vorsichtig, careful enough, you might even get attacked by der Bär, singular, die Bären, plural, the bear. Ich will gar nicht wissen, wie viele Spieler an dieser Stelle bereits gestorben sind. Wobei, vielleicht will ich's doch wissen. It's not set in stone since it's a huge open Welt, die Welt, singular, die Welten, plural, the world, but it's likely that you first start die Erkundung, singular, die Erkundungen, plural, the exploration in the village Flusswald, river forest. And again a compound word for der Fluss, singular, die Flüsse, plural, the river, and it's der Wald, singular, die Wälder, plural, the forest or the woods. That way also leads to the major city of Weißlauf. In English, Whiterun. Once again a literal translation. Auf der einen Seite finde ich es richtig gut, dass man die ganze Welt sofort erkunden kann. Auf der anderen Seite kann das auch ziemlich überfordernd sein. Wo gehe ich zuerst hin? Wo reite ich hin? Ja, es kann kompliziert sein. Aber schön. Kompliziert. What I personally really like about the Elder Scrolls games, which translates to Schriftrollen der Alten or die Schriften der Weisen, and similar RPGs is the directness and accessibility in terms of structured game mechanics and gameplay. What? You can interagieren, to interact, with two main things. Die Person, singular, die Personen, plural, the person, respectively die Kreatur, singular, die Kreaturen, plural, or der Gegenstand, singular, die Gegenstände, plural, the item or object. And each time you can interact, the game shows possible commands on screen, including reden, to talk, lesen, to read, öffnen, to open, durchsuchen, to search, nehmen, to take, stehlen, to steal, don't do that, schlafen, to sleep, and further options. Die Option, singular, die Optionen, plural. During the game you explore both obvious and some rather hidden Orte, der Ort, singular, die Orte, plural, a place or location. And of course, Skyrim wouldn't be an RPG without proper, really cool dungeons. Again, German gamers usually use the English term dungeon as well. Translated, it would mean das Verlies, singular, die Verliese, plural, or der Kerker, singular, die Kerker, plural. And it doesn't matter if it's English or German or like a different language, they always look really atemberaubend.
Breathtaking.
I'm always fascinated by die Natur, the nature, in this part of Tamriel. It features colorful Bäume, der Baum, singular, die Bäume, plural, the tree, and apart from the fauna, it also features a pretty cool flora. For instance, common Tiere, das Tier, singular, die Tiere, plural, the animal. But you can also spot some stranger, more exotic creatures, such as der Riese, singular, die Riesen, plural, the giant. But it may be better to stay away from them and not to steal their gigantic Käse, the cheese, or else you might get hammered high up into die Luft, the air. In my opinion, each region in Skyrim has a distinct Atmosphäre, an atmosphere or mood to it, which also makes it feel unique. For instance, das Kloster, the monastery, way up on der Berg, singular, die Berge, plural, the mountain, that's covered with der Schnee, only singular by the way, the snow, and das Eis, once again only singular, ice. I know it's a bit far-fetched, but it sort of reminds me of das Kloster von Barkang in Tomb Raider 2. Both share the same residence, der Mönch, singular, die Mönche, plural, the monk, or in this case more precisely, die Graubärte, literally the greybeards. And let's not forget the awesome, impressive, steampunk-like runes by the ancient Zwerge, der Zwerg, singular, die Zwerge, plural, the dwarf, the Dwemer in this case. In a way, you're basically exploring a lost place there. But, well, I guess some of them aren't so lost after all, it seems. And if you should get stuck in no man's land, well, luckily you have die Karte, singular, die Karten, plural, the map, so you won't get lost totally. Maybe a little bit, but not as much. And in case you aren't sure if you have that quest item with you that's required, well, you can take a look at the Inventar, das Inventar, singular, die Inventare, plural, the inventory. Very, very praktisch, very practical. You will also get to know a few city leaders that are called der Jarl, singular, die Jarls, plural. And for instance in Einsamkeit, die Einsamkeit, mostly singular, which is quite cynical in a way when you think about it. Solitude, you also get to meet a female Jarl, Jarl Elisif. Ich persönlich bin etwas zwiegespalten, wenn es um die Übersetzung von Eigennamen geht. Jedenfalls, Einsamkeit liegt im Norden. Over the course of the game you are supposed to more or less join one of the two main sides or parties in Himmelsrand. One of them is die Sturmmäntel, the Stormcloaks, literal equivalent by the way, once again meaning die Rebellion, the rebellion, and der Rebell, singular, die Rebellen, plural, the rebel, or die Kaiserlichen, the Imperials or Imperialists. Now, from a German perspective, in the late 19th century and up until 1918 or so, many Germans may have rather chosen to support the latter, I guess, but times might have changed, so might be different today. You can choose how to fight as well, either as der Nahkämpfer, a close combatant, or der Fernkämpfer, a remote fighter, or in general with die Waffe, singular, die Waffen, plural, the weapon, or rather with die Magie, the magic. And once you have fulfilled all big tasks or quests for a Jarl, you also get a reward. For instance, a Huskarl. Well, what is a Huskarl though? Well, it's a loyal companion which can help you fighting and carrying items along the way. And you know, my personal favorite of them is Lydia. Lydia. In German it's Lydia with an Ü sound, an umlaut sound in it. Because German. Lydia. And maybe even throughout your journey, at some point you may have made quite das Einkommen, the income, and you don't need to use das Gasthaus, singular, die Gasthäuser, plural, the inn, because you can also purchase your own house, das Haus, singular, die Häuser, plural, the house. And maybe you want to take a rest from all the quests every now and then. It's die Quest, singular, die Quests, plural. And I guess that might be especially gratifying once you have learned about being das Drachenblut. Literally the dragon blood, for das Blut, the blood. And in English it's dragonborn, so a slightly different term, but still both fit pretty well, I think. And you know, back in the day when I was young, I would have, explored the world and wandered cliffs and mountains and rivers and forests and whatnot.
Aber dann habe ich einen Pfeil ins Knie bekommen.
Aua. Alright guys, that was quite a lot of vocabulary, I know. Hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed this video. Because I sure did enjoy making this. I love Skyrim and I love teaching the German language in a very fun, entertaining, yet helpful, informative way. And I think videos like this one are the perfect example for doing that, for that approach. At least for me personally. I don't know about you guys, feel free to tell me in the comments, and of course also make sure to check out the video description with many interesting links to my socials and support options. And by the way, from now on you can also become a YouTube channel member. If you want to support my work here on YouTube on this channel directly, that's the best way to go, and you don't need a third-party website to do so. Thanks for watching everyone, I'm your Vlog Dave, tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal. Cold. Kalt.